Gigantic hello to everyone listening to Lilia's Sunday podcast. It's been 2 weeks since I last recorded a podcast, and I think it's worth mentioning I haven't stopped recording Lilia's Sunday podcast, and I'd like to assure every regular listener that I'm back on the track and in no way will I stop doing what I'm doing. So there is actually a reason to my 2-week absence. There's been something I always wanted to do, but I could never find time to do it. And I was looking at people doing this and I thought, oh God, what, can't I try even once and see if I'm good? So a couple of weeks ago, I took a deep breath and enrolled for singing lessons. And you know what? It turned out I can hold a note, and I've got a very, just not a very good ear, but a pretty good ear for music. And I have a wonderful teacher, who's really supportive and responsive to her students' needs. And she's a pretty creative person herself. So I believe that she can help me. And yeah, so I think I should start singing now, because I'm in my mid-20s and I think that's the right time to do it. I think I should sing something to you in the nearest future. And I've always been into hard rock and metal music, so I think I'll sing you something like this. So good luck to me and everyone doing whatever you're doing. Give way to creativity. Creativity is very important in our everyday life. So this is something that we shouldn't basically shun doing, right? This is very important, that you give way to your creativity, to your soul, right? If your heart wants something, you should do it. Also, in terms of English, when I started singing, I discovered a couple of things considering English pronunciation, in particular how to teach it and how to study it successfully for a learner of English. All of that I'll be sharing in my private lessons. So if you're interested, please contact me and we'll make sure your pronunciation is perfect. All right, enough rambling. So the topic of today's edition of Lilia's Sunday podcast is something my student requested me to talk about. And I thought it would be a good idea to share some of my ideas with you guys on the topic of bilingual and monolingual dictionaries. So here is a question. How many times do you glimpse inside an English, your first language dictionary, right? When you're reading or listening to something in English, or do you use an English dictionary to learn new words, which is more beneficial for your English? So here's what I think. When you're using a two-language dictionary, you may go 2 ways. Here is the first way. You get a clear meaning and you understand the word straight away. You understand what the author of the text or the speaker meant, and then you just okay, so you understand the context, you got the word, and now you proceed to the next bit. And here is the second way. Because all languages are different, you don't get the precise meaning and look for the closest meaning, taking the context into consideration. After you think you've approximately understood what the writer means, you move on and read or listen further on. Okay, I've said that word think in a louder voice because I think that's important. You think that you understand what the writer is talking about, but that doesn't mean that you do understand it and you learn the word, right? So does any of those ways mean you learn the word and remember it when the time comes? And the answer is no. This approach works okay with concrete and international nouns, perhaps like apple or sex. But when it comes to words like propel or pucker, right, where you might not have an equivalent in your language, and if we'll take a broader look, the verb to come, so many meanings depending on the context. So usually English dictionaries provide you with a more precise meaning. English is a really rich language, and like in any other language, you may find some words which don't exist in your mother tongue, and that translation doesn't simply exist. So it is impossible, it's fairly impossible to translate the word in question into your first language. And even if you did translate it, the meaning will be approximate and you won't get the reach the fullest potential of that word, and you won't really understand how to use it, how to integrate it into your active vocabulary that you use every day to express your thoughts. And it's commonly known, so furthermore, it's commonly known that the more you learn a language, the better you understand that most words and phrases and even sentences can't be translated directly. You never know if that's one of these words when you're reading or listening to something new, right? Or is that a word like telephone, right? And you know straight away what the author is talking about. Or is that a word, I don't know, something like appeal, yeah? You never know what the author meant if you get a direct translation. And by the way, when you're reading a dictionary definition of a new word, you give yourself an extra chance to practice your English. In other words, you're living in the world of English. And, in the meantime, all the naturalness of it goes automatically into your head. Again, you should use every opportunity to absorb as much English as you can if you want to be a successful learner. Overall, I definitely recommend using an English dictionary, whatever level you're at. And if you're if you're using a dictionary, don't worry, because the definitions are written in the simplest language ever. And if you're a beginner or an elementary pre-intermediate learner, picture dictionaries are always there. I really love the Oxford Picture Dictionary, and there's a lovely Cambridge Picture Dictionary for young learners, right? Don't worry if you're an adult learner. So the fact that this dictionary was published for young learners doesn't have to put you off. Let me assure you, young learner dictionaries suit you super well. Visual learners study well with pictures. And for those of you who are auditory learners, most of those dictionaries have the CD voiceovers. And they're amazing. Yeah, I need to tell you the truth. Picture dictionaries are just amazing. And they're a lot better than bilingual dictionaries. In all honesty, when I was saying that, I just felt like some nostalgia in my heart, because I remembered a freshly printed Oxford Picture Dictionary I flicked through in a bookshop a couple of years ago, and God, I wished I'd bought it and proudly put it on a shelf, but I didn't, and I truly regret that. And my favourite English dictionary would probably be, let's see, Longman Dictionary of Contemporary English. I think I should probably attach Amazon links where you can get these dictionaries to make a learning journey much, much better. So if you're a low-level learner, get yourself a coloured picture dictionary, or if you've learnt English up to the pre-intermediate or intermediate level, go and get an English dictionary. Well, isn't it exciting to surround yourself with authentic English written by native speakers? It's just amazing, it's just a great feeling when you know that starting from the very beginning, when you're just making your first steps in your learning journey, right? You know that you can read the materials written for native speakers and written by native speakers. So this is a great feeling when you know that you can understand something, when you're listening to a song and you know that you can understand it, even if you've just started learning English. And the same thing works with dictionaries, believe me. Right? Okay. So, here I'm going to round off the episode, and I really hope you've had a good time listening to this. If you've been listening to the podcast for quite a long time, you may have noticed some podcasts are missing from Podomatic. And that's because I ran out of uploading, what do they call them? Uploading space. Uploading space. I ran out of uploading space last month, and I had to delete a couple of podcasts to make room for the newer episodes. So now I've got a premium subscription, and that means I'm very lucky because I can upload as much as I want. So I think I'll add the missing episodes sometime in the future. So I'm going to do it even now. So, okay. I'll think when I can do it, and I'll try to combine singing lessons and the podcast in future. Don't forget that you could listen to Lilia's Sunday podcast on liliacardenas.podomatic.com. and vk.com and download stuff for free. And I'll talk to you very, very soon. So cheers. Thanks a lot for listening. Lots of love. Lilia from Lilia's Sunday Podcast.